here live on set at Bush Pig Adventures, and we're here to talk to you about everything to do with tyres. In this episode, we're here to talk to you about the difference a tyre footprint makes with high pressure and with lower pressure. So we're talking about extension of footprint and the importance of that from a grip perspective. I think let's just start with manufacturer's pressures. As we've been discussing in previous episodes, manufacturer's pressure is relevant and important for driving on-road, for tyre care and maintenance in a road sense. But when you start heading off-road and you need grip, obviously from a safety perspective, but also from a comfort perspective, your footprint is going to start to increase. What we're going to be doing is talking about different pressures, and we're going to stick with 2-bar scenario, a 1.2 bar scenario, and then a half a bar scenario, typically for sand. And we're going to be demonstrating to you what that footprint impact is. So Lance, just in terms of the footprint and just addressing the misperception that there is an extension in the width of the tyre. I think you have a section. Let's just talk about that and just demonstrate that fact.
Basically, we have, you can see quite clearly we have a tread width, okay? And when we decrease the inflation pressure, we do not increase this tread width. It's physically impossible to do this. However, if the tyre is overinflated slightly and we have, let's say, a little bit of a lift on the shoulders, for sure we'll get a marginal increase in the width of the tyre. But by decreasing the inflation pressures, you are increasing the length. And maybe I can just show you practically how that works if I put the tyre down into the sand and I decrease the inflation pressure. All right, you will see the tyre is only deflecting. All right, it's physically impossible to increase the width of the tyre.
Now that's a reasonably hard surface that you have there. I think if we can just
if I can just
Marcus
jump in there, because
to demonstrate.
From a 4x4 aspect, there is a slight difference. So we're not increasing the contact patch, right, which is the base section of the tyre here. But if we put it down into very soft sand, like we have here, and I deflate, you can actually see that the sidewall is starting to touch when it compresses into the sand. And a lot of your manufacturers, especially General Tyre, have really gone into this well, have got a much more aggressive sidewall, just on the top shoulder here, so that when you do deflate, you have the protection from punctures, as well as you have extra grip on the sidewall to assist with your traction going forward. So it really is a nice feature on the new tyres to have that sidewall and to have that shoulder that has got better grip.
Great, that's a good point. And I think soft sand is definitely relevant for that part of the discussion. So as we go into the discussion on footprint, and certainly show that the test that we did relative to the 2-bar, 1.2 bar and the 0.5 bar and the difference, the significant difference that it makes, not only to grip, but how it extends the footprint. Right, so we're here this afternoon at Bracadena in the blazing hot sun, and we're here to demonstrate the difference that tyre pressures make to your footprint of your tyre. As you can see, we've got sand, we've got the vehicle jacked up, it's completely off at the moment. And the intention is that we will lower the car into the sand, measure the footprint. The tyre pressure is currently at 2-bar. Lance, what are we going to be reducing the pressures from here?
So Ryan, we'll start at 2-bar and then we'll go down to 1.1, and after we've measured that footprint, we'll then lift it again and reduce it to half a bar.
And we're expecting the tyre footprint to increase quite significantly.
For sure. This is really going to be an interesting test.
As you can see, what we have now is we have a reference footprint. So this tyre is at 2-bar. What we're going to do now is, Lance has got the tape measure. Lance, where are we going to measure the footprint?
Right, Ryan, so we really have a great practical example here, first of all. So I think let's measure it straight down the center, in the middle. Right, so you can hold the one side and I'll take the measurement on the other. I'm afraid we're going to have to get
right
down and dirty here. So we have 280 millimeters.
Right, there you have it, 280 mils
280
at 2-bar pressure, and we're going to drop it down to 1.1 now, drop the car again, measure again. What we've done now is we've reduced the pressure from 2-bar to 1.1 bar. We've dropped the car again in exactly the same position, and we're now going to measure the footprint for the second time.
300 millimeters.
So we've grown by another 20, going from 2 bar to 1.1.
You could see, Ryan, visually here, we can see the footprint has just got slightly wider. We don't expect it to get too much wider in the next one, but longer is the objective.
So in other words, the tyre has bowed slightly, so now we've got a little bit more contact with the shoulder
Correct.
on the sand,
100%.
but we've got the length as well.
Correct.
Okay, so we're now expecting to see another increase in footprint as we go down from 1.1 bar to half a bar, which is the next step. We've now dropped the pressure from 1.1 to 0.5 of a bar, half a bar, and we've put the vehicle, jacked the vehicle back up, and now we can see that the footprint has lengthened even more. So Lance, let's measure it, let's see what we've got.
Excellent. Right, we're at 400 millimeters.
Okay, so we started at 2 bar on 280 millimeters. We then dropped the pressure from 2 bar to 1.1. We went to 300,
yeah.
and then we dropped from 1.1 to half a bar, and we've gone from 300 to 400. So from 280 to 400, that's significant.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if we do the maths quickly in our head, and this might not be so quickly, right, about 40% increase from 280 to 400. But I think what's important here, Ryan, is that we got a 20 millimeter difference between 2 bar and 1.1, and as soon as we went under 1 bar down to the half a bar, we sort of have an exponential increase in the length, up to 400 millimeters. So it's quite, I think, quite an important
So that's
point.
going to play a great deal of difference when we're talking about this surface, which is sand.
100%.
Now that's the theory. You would have seen the pictures and everything that we've done to prove that on sand, which is relevant. But now how does that translate into the real world and in actual driving? So we're going to show you, and we're going to show you exactly what happens when we try and attempt to climb on relatively soft sand with an expert driving, with the right vehicle, with everything on, and it's all about the pressures. Thanks for watching.